Madeline and Rogue were lying on their backs with Jean rocking their feet. She was moving at different speeds, keeping the messy babies entertained and keeping pressure on their diapers to make the babies sweat. Once they did, they would have diaper rash as well as horrible lasting memories of this ordeal. Jean had stumbled onto the idea when changing Madeline the first time because she had the very beginnings of the skin condition. Rogue was getting bored. She was starting to fidget. "What is it, my little poopy diaper baby girl?" Jean sang to Rogue. "Is your messy diapered brain not having enough fun? Bless, look at that smile, you're going to poop again, aren't you?" Jean put her lips to Rogue's forehead and blew a raspberry. This caused Rogue to giggle and Jean returned to rocking her. Jean turned and looked to the Brotherhood, who had now largely forgotten about their captives, and she felt deeply humiliated. She was not a baby, they were, and she was being treated as bad, if not worse than those in the poopy diapers. Summer turned around and faced Jean. Jean's clothes vanished in a puff of smoke and reappeared with a pink bikini top and a cloth diaper. Jean then pooped her diaper and Summer turned back to the planning table. Hypnotic turned around and looked at Madeline and Rogue. They both stood up to their full height and moved toward the Jean clone, who suddenly now found herself outnumbered. "Look out!" Summer suddenly shouted as she dived for cover. Nightcrawler looked at the scene before him, utterly bewildered. What was going on? Jean was here? What were they wearing? Then Smallest Mutant turned and shouted the warning. Nightcrawler teleported back to the 11. In the confusion, Madeline saw her chance powering up the phase wall she could create. She pushed one of the walls of the cube and pushed it from the others, much like she had done with the door in her room in the 11. She then found Hypnotic, who had thrown herself against a wall and was now lying on the ground. Madeline used the phase wall to bend the wire mesh, that was formerly the cube wall, and she dropped her smaller cage on top of Hypnotic, sealing her in with her face downwards, rendering her powers useless. Rogue had not been idle at this time either. She had sprinted forward. Even the sagging load of her full diaper did not prevent her from reaching top speed. She leapt at Summon, who did not have time to spirit Rogue away from her, and the diaper mutant landed on top of Summon and rammed her legs, the only part of her skin not covered, onto Summon. As soon as the microns on her skin made contact, Rogue began to pull Summon's power from her. Madeline turned her attention to Avalanche and Toad, who began to circle around her. "You are going to get such a spanking," Avalanche said, raising his foot. "Yes, Stinky, I am going to enjoy changing your diapers tomorrow." Toad licked his lips. Then a familiar puff of black smoke enveloped Toad and Avalanche, who disappeared. They reappeared beside Shockwave, tied to the changing table in the second cube.